Hello and welcome. This video is going to be about the importance and purpose of journaling and the benefit that it can bring to your life. My name is Christiana and I am making this video for you in hopes of helping you find an outlet of some sort through writing when you need it. So I will be referencing notes that I have on my laptop in front of me, and hopefully we won't hear too many jingle bells in the background because I have 4 cats and 3 of the 4 cats are wearing their collars with large bells on them, so we may hear them cleaning themselves or running around. And I also have my dehydrator running in the background, so hopefully this will be peaceful. And I have to put these on, otherwise I can't read. Okay, and it's a rather dark day here in Tennessee. It's overcast and it's raining, which is a little depressing. And so I have my ring light on in front of me, and I'm sure you can see the ring light reflection in my glasses, so let's try not to pay attention to that. So, all right, so the importance and purpose of journaling. So for me, it's like an opinionless friend that if I don't have a person available to talk to, whether it's in person, over the phone, a Zoom call, I have always turned to writing. Writing has always been one of my best methods for communication. It's the one way that I can communicate where I am seldom ever misunderstood. So in referencing my notes here, like I said, it can act like a friend who doesn't respond to you, but you're able to sort of empty your heart and empty your mind of your thoughts. And it can be any kind of thoughts that you may be having at the time. You could be depressed, angry, sad, feeling alone. It could be any number of emotions that any one person could feel at one time. You could even be feeling more than one of those emotions collectively at one time. So I guess I'll just start by saying a couple of days ago, I work part-time, and this is a whole completely different video that I may decide to film at some point. I was working full-time, and why I chose to decrease my hours to part-time status. So I was off a couple of days ago. I have several days off a week, and I was feeling low and very unmotivated. And when I'm unmotivated, it's very difficult for me to get up out of my saucer chair that I'm sitting in right now to move forward with my day. I can take an entire day that I have off where I could go outside and do something, drive to a store, go to a yoga class, whatever it might be, even just take a walk. I can't move forward. I can't do it. I can't get myself motivated to do it. So when this happens, I tend to feel very trapped and slowed down and fatigued. I'll sit in the chair and I'll start nodding off, and I've got the TV on, the idiot box, and I'm just sitting there in a comatose state watching something. And although I tend to watch things that are educational, so I try to watch something that doesn't necessarily waste my time, but I could be doing something else. I could be doing this, filming a video for you. So anyway, these feelings, when they come over me and they wash over me like somebody's just thrown a large blanket over me and I can't see, I can't feel anything. It leaves me ultimately feeling mentally and physically paralyzed. I can't move. I can't even think. So it renders me nearly useless for that day. So, you know, I grabbed my journal, and I've had many over the years. This started for me many years ago as a young girl with a diary. It was something my mother was not allowed to have when she was a young girl, and my mother did not want me to have one either. She just felt like it was this very secretive, unhealthy object to have. And so for me, I started writing anyway. And that's another long story how I ended up with my first diary, but I did, and I began to write in it, and I found it to be just an incredible release for whatever it was that I was feeling. So I have various different types of journals. I do bullet journaling in a moleskin. This is very different. This is more of like a planner for me. But this journal is blank on the front, and so I decorated it, and you know, it has, you know, all of my writing in here and so on. I mean, this, and I've gone through, I can't tell you, countless journals over the years because I have felt the need to write. And so when I have a journal, I typically tend to like to start with dating the entry with whatever the date is. So, I mean, this is just what I do. I start with the date, and then I'll actually look at my watch or my phone and write the time down. And if I have a previous entry, I'll draw a line and then start the date and the time, and then I'll start emptying myself onto the paper through my writing. So, pardon me, I'm taking a look at my notes. I don't want to lose my place while I'm speaking to you. One of the benefits to dating your entry is that if you decide to hold on to your journal, whether you only ever just have one journal in your life or you have volumes of journals and you have them in a collection, it's okay to hold on to them, because sometimes you can go back and look at where you were even just a month ago, a year ago, 6 years ago, 20 years ago, and look at the date and the time of day that you wrote it, and maybe you can see where you are now and the growth between that entry and maybe another entry that you're about to embark on. So you can use it as a marker and a unit of measure to see how well you have been able to perhaps make some good changes to your life. So like I said, I had a diary, and I used that for a number of years. And like I said, I've had numerous journals. Some of them I've held on to. I used to keep journals for every relationship that I ever had with a man. And it was always interesting to see how the journal started out and how it progressed towards the pages coming towards the end of the journal, and how frustrating I had become inside of that relationship with that person. And some of those, I tore them up, burned them, destroyed them. I do have one journal from a relationship that I had, and that was a special relationship for me, so I still have that one to this day. And so I guess trying to move this story along a little bit more. I currently live in Tennessee. I haven't quite been here for a year. We moved here from Florida September of last year, so that would have been 2022, and so it is August of 2023 now, so not quite a year. And I may film a video about that too. That's part of the reason why I do quite a bit of journaling, is because of this move that we've made. So when I was in Florida, I had a situation occur, and I was matched with a counselor, and she was also a licensed clinical social worker. And I used to meet with her on a bi-weekly basis through Zoom calls. And she helped me greatly, just as someone to listen to, someone that I could literally meet with bi-weekly and sit and talk with for an hour. Yes, I had to pay for those visits, but it was money well spent. And she helped me greatly by listening and offering suggestions and things like that for me. Life coaching to a degree. And unfortunately, when I moved to Tennessee, she was unable to continue the meetings with me because she is only licensed in the state of Florida to counsel. So she sent me a link to I guess it's a nationwide website where you can find other therapists, counselors, whether it's just individual counseling, one-on-one Zoom call, couples therapy, whatever your current need may be. This website was made available to me. Well, I got on it right away because I wanted to continue to have this person, whoever it might be, to talk to. And unfortunately, I mean, the website was very comprehensive, hundreds and hundreds of counselors to choose from that I could see. Each one of them had a photograph of themselves, their education, their scope of practice, background, so on and so forth. And so I chose several of them, and you could email or call them. I did a combination of both, emailing and calling them. And unfortunately, each one of them had their own set of circumstances. The one that I ran into most frequently was that there was a waiting list, and I got put on a waiting list for most of them. There were a few that never returned my calls and never returned an email either. So it just goes to show that right now, in the current environmental state that we are all currently living in, the climate is one that is necessitating balance and harmony in people's lives. The work-life balance is, I believe it exists for some people. It is not existing for me, and I don't believe that it is for a number of other people either. So I got put on waiting lists, and I just never heard from anyone, and I turned to this. So I continue to write as frequently as I can. I have another smaller journal over to my left, and I use that occasionally as well. But it's just made the experience of being here and not having her to talk to difficult, because I have had to look inside myself to find answers to questions that I have, and I have to write a lot of things out in great detail. The pros and cons list that many people are told to make, it really does help. It's a good tool to use if you are looking to try to weigh options with different things, whatever they might be for your life. So, you know, I reach for my journal when I need to release. It's probably the best way to describe any of this. Is it's just an emotional release. So empty your head, empty your soul and your heart onto the paper and be done with it. You can rip it up, you can keep it. The choice is yours. I would say it's probably better to hold on to these things, because if you do tear it up and destroy it, and you decide you want it back, you will never be able to remember every single word that you wrote down. So it never hurts to hold on to these things. You might want to keep your journal in a safe place if you're around perhaps nosy parents, or someone that you don't have 100% trust in. A journal is a very sacred thing, because you are literally just spilling out your insides and your thoughts and your feelings onto this paper. Yeah, I don't necessarily feel that it's something that you need to broadcast to the world, that you just finished doing, a journal entry and just leave it open and out for someone to see. It's really none of anyone's business. One thing that I do like to do when I write, and this is very individual, I am someone that likes to listen to music while I'm doing things. Dead silence does not help me at all. It never has. If I'm reading a book, I have to have music on, not necessarily lyrical music, but just music on in the background. It does help me write. It helps kind of throw my very active brain a bone to chew on, so that I just have a very high-speed mind. So it's very difficult for me to focus on what it is I'm trying to do when I'm writing if I don't have music playing in the background. So that for me is it's very helpful. Pandora, Spotify, whatever, a record, vinyl, radio, your choice. So basically, you know, if you are journaling for yourself now, I say good for you, bravo, keep going, don't stop. And just because you've worked through a situation doesn't mean that you never have to write about anything that's going on in your life again. You can always write, no matter where you are in your life, what age, your location, what you're doing. There's always time to write, and there are journals and paper everywhere. I mean, you can write on a paper napkin, a paper towel if you don't have paper, printer paper, loose leaf, lined journals, unlined journals. It doesn't really matter. If you feel like you need to write, for heaven's sakes, grab the back of a receipt. Just get it out. Even on your phone, notes, notepad, or whatever it is on our iPhones. I don't have an Android, so I don't know how Android is set up, but it's just a great tool to try to help you relax and get through this day that you are in. I believe that journaling has truly saved me on a number of occasions, and I can only help by telling you my story, and I hope that it will help you. Like I said, it's a it's a very safe way to cope with anything that's going on in your life. And it doesn't even have to be a negative thing. If you've got wonderful things going on in your life, you just started dating someone new and you want to write about it, well, then write about it. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Not everything has to be depressing or down or dark. You can always write about something that's positive too. But I think I've talked enough. I only planned to talk for about 10 minutes and now I'm over 20. So, no surprise there. So I hope that this chat will inspire you, or has inspired you, to start journaling. If you aren't, or if you used to, please start journaling again. It really can help. And again, if you are journaling and have been, oh my goodness, keep going. It's a wonderful way to cope and to get through this life, to try to survive it. Because I feel like that's what a lot of us are doing right now. Not all of us, but many of us. And of course, it takes time out of a day to sit and write. Sometimes if I'm pressed for time, I'll set a timer on my phone for an hour. Boom, write for an hour. And when the alarm goes off, then I close it up. I'll finish the sentence I'm working on, and that's it. So this is only meant to help, and I hope that it does. And take care and be well.